Great to talk to you again, Tom. It's been a while. Obviously, it's been a while for you too. You're just a few days finally from your big return, almost exactly a year away from the unfortunate situation last time you were in there. How was the road back to this point?
Finally, yeah, it was long. It was long, but I feel like it was needed. As weird as that may sound, like now I'm at the other side. I feel like I don't know. I just really needed that, and I feel like I don't know. I just feel refreshed, like revitalized, and I feel like my mind is so in such a good spot right now that yeah, I'm just in the best spot that I've ever been in my career, to be honest. And I just can't wait. I'm just so excited and so grateful just that we're on fight week now and I'm enjoying it all. And I'm leaving to go to London tomorrow, and I'm just very excited about the whole thing.
Now, when you say it was needed, I'm going to assume you could have done without the torn MCL, the torn meniscus, and maybe that damage to the ACL, right?
Well, yeah, that wasn't great. That definitely wasn't great. But although the knee injury was bothering me for a long time, so it did need to get fixed. Do you know what I mean? Like that was going to happen sooner or later anyway. So I'm glad that it now that it's done and the surgery is done and the rehab process is done and everything. I'm glad that it's done, and I'm thankful that it happened the way it did.
Now, I imagine you're not an old man. You're only 30 now. You've been relatively healthy throughout your life, right? How did this injury, kind of affect your ability to get around, especially in your mindset the last year?
Well, that was the toughest bit for me because I'm quite an active guy. I don't like to be sat down for too long. I'm always out and about doing stuff. If I'm not training, I'm with friends or I've got three small children as well, so I'm with the children and I'm doing all kinds. You know what I mean? I'm not the kind of guy who just sits at home. And when you're unable to walk and unable to do anything for yourself, basically, it's very tough mentally. That was the hardest bit for me. As soon as I could get up and walking and the rehab process started and stuff, I was absolutely fine. But before then, for that first kind of 5 6 weeks before I could even really get up and walk, it was really tough mentally, definitely.
So what did you learn anything about yourself going through this whole ordeal? Like, did you kind of learn anything about maybe the way you handle situations like this?
I learned so much about myself. So like, I think it's been the biggest learning experience of my life, to be honest. I learned that I was wasting a lot of time before doing things that I didn't need to be doing. Yeah, I learned that I really, really love this sport, like more than I ever thought that I loved it, to be honest. When you're at a crossroads in your life and you don't know whether you're going to lose something or not, I think you really start to realize if you like it or not. Like if this sport's really meant for you or not. And I decided that this sport is one of the main things in my life, if not the main thing. And I need to put all my eggs in one basket now and go towards what I feel like I deserve, which is the heavyweight champion of the world. And I've really organised my life in a way that everything is pointing towards that now. I'm not messing around with anything other than something that aids me becoming UFC heavyweight champion.
So, what sort of stuff might have kind of sidetracked you before, or maybe stole your attention and your focus?
Oh, a lot of stuff. First of all, I wasn't living as an athlete or anywhere close to living as an athlete, really. Like I've always trained, like you can ask anybody that I train with. I always train hard. I always train consistently and stuff like that. But realistically, as a professional athlete or as a professional MMA fighter, you only really train like 3 4 hours a day. The other 20 hours, I definitely wasn't living like an athlete. I wasn't recovering right. I wasn't sleeping right. I was overtraining before a little bit. And my diet was all wrong. And I was just, yeah, it just wasn't right. And my training was wrong as well. Like I was training with a lot of guys who weren't my size. Like I felt like I needed to be training with heavyweights only, really, because that's where I get the most realistic work in, as opposed to training with a load of smaller guys. Like just all kinds of different stuff. I was drinking a lot. My diet was bad. All that kind of stuff. Like I'm away from all that now, and I'm 100% focused that I'm going to be the UFC heavyweight champion. That's the goal.
So we'll kind of now we see maybe a different physically Tom Aspinall. Will you look different than we saw you last time?
I mean, I think so. I think I've put a lot of lean muscle mass on. I think that my body fat is way lower, and I think that my body is just much more fresh. Like I look after my body so much more now, whereas before that's what I wasn't really doing at all. I wasn't really looking after my body. And as a guy that's like 6'5", 250, 260, like you need to look after your body when you put in when you put in the hours in the gym. Like the recovery is equally, if not more important than the actual training. So I'm really looking after my body now, which is something that I wasn't doing before.
Sure, sure. And now we get to see you on display. You're back in London. You've got Marcin Tybura in front of you. He's, you know, ostensibly the reason you're on this card is because you are, you know, on British soil in front of home fans. Would you have been able to return sooner if it wasn't for maybe kind of holding off to get you on that local card?
Possibly, like potentially, yeah, but I'm really happy with the way it's turned out, you know. Like I think the dates are one day difference to when I actually blew my knee out from a year for being exactly a year. And I think that that's perfect. I think it's absolutely perfect because I didn't want the O2 Arena to be like some, I don't know, taboo place for me or some scary place to go to. I think that I need to go back and fight at the O2, and it couldn't have happened more perfect, to be honest. I'm really happy with it.
Now, what about the opponent here? Obviously, it's Marcin Tybura. The last time out was against Curtis Blades, but that fight didn't really get going. Like it didn't reveal anything about either of you as fighters, as competitors. Were you hoping to get back potentially against him, or is that fight maybe you still like to run back?
Yeah, I still want that fight, of course, I still want it. But at the time that I was looking for a fight, he already was booked, so he wasn't really available to have the rematch straight away. And it's something that I don't expect for him to want to take it straight away. Do you know what I mean? It's we're definitely going to meet again at some point. We're both like young heavyweights, and I'm sure we're going to meet down the line. But yeah, that's definitely something that I want to pursue in the future for sure.
Now, Marcin, he's on a great run right now, 7-1, last 3.5 years or so. The only loss to Alexander Volkov, who of course you beat. What's made him kind of such a tough out, especially these last few years?
I think that a lot of people kind of overlook him a lot. Like he doesn't do anything flashy or mega explosive or anything like that. To be honest, he's just a very like durable guy who has a very good skill set, and he's very patient and very experienced. And I think, yeah, just because he doesn't have loads of knockouts on his record, and because he's not like a big muscly guy, a lot of people think that he's going to be a walkover, and he's just not at all. He is absolutely not. I've watched all of his fights. I've studied him for a long time now. And I've trained for this guy like he's the best in the world. Seriously, I've put everything into this training camp for the last. Honestly, I've been training for this fight for like 8 months. Seriously, I've been really dedicating my life to this one particular fight. So I'm taking him deadly seriously.
Now, the heavyweight division has changed a lot, kind of overnight, really, since you've been in there. You know, we Francis Ngannou was the champion. Now he's left the UFC. John Jones is back. He's the champion now of the promotion. You know, what's kind of your take on the division landscape now?
I think the heavyweight division is probably in the best state that it's ever been, at least for as long as I've been watching MMA. Like I think that there's so many guys now who are like young and not even in the prime yet. Some guys in the prime, some people just after the prime, some people just before the prime, like me. And I think that it's just such an exciting time. Like over the next 5, 6 years, there's so many exciting fights to make between those guys, and I think it's just going to be. I don't know. I think the heavyweight division is just absolutely on fire right now. I think it's unbelievable.
There is some chatter though, and John has fueled this himself with things he said that he might retire after he fights Stipe Miocic in November. Would that be disappointing to miss out on the chance to face an all-timer like either Jones or Miocic?
Of course, like I would love to fight both guys, and to be honest, my plan is not just to win these fights. Like I want to excite John Jones. I want to make John Jones stick around for me. Like I know that right now he probably doesn't even he's probably even unaware who I am at this point. But I want to get people talking, and I want to make him excited and want him to stick around for guys like me. So that's my plan.
You are known for finishing fights, of course, and one would think that that's probably the goal here. But we have a durable guy in Tybura here. So what are you going to do to be able to kind of to take him out in under 5 rounds?
You know what? I'm more than happy to do 5 if I need to. Like I'm completely prepared for that. To be honest with you, I always get the finishes when I think it's going to be a long fight. When I think it's going to be a long fight, that's when the finishes come. When I'm just doing my thing and I'm not trying to force anything. So I'm just going to do that. I'm expecting to go 5. If I can finish him in 10 seconds, I will do that. And if it goes 5, I'm happy with that as well. Whatever comes, I'll take it.
Now, what about Francis Ngannou too? He's someone who obviously has now moved on. Do you feel like maybe that fight is off the table entirely, or do you kind of holding out hope that maybe there's a way it can happen between you two one day?
I don't think that's going to happen, me and him, to be honest. I think that if he's getting that much money boxing, why is he going to come back to MMA? I can't really see it, to be honest. I don't know. I've heard that he's getting like north of 20 million for this Tyson Fury fight. So I don't know how true that is. You know what I mean? This is just something that I've heard. But if he is, what reason does he have to come back and fight MMA if he's getting that much money? So, but fair play to him. Like I would do exactly the same. I'd stay well clear of anything if I was getting that much money. So yeah, he's doing his thing, and fair play to him.
Good, good, good. And the last question I had for you is, wondering when are we going to get a big American crowd to see you compete in person? Your whole career's been overseas, or it's been at the Apex, a much more smaller venue. So when are you going to come on over and entertain the fans at like a big stadium show or arena show in America?
Whenever they want me, to be honest with you, that's the honest answer. I've not been offered it at this point, so I would love to fight MSG. Like MSG is my dream destination to fight in. So if there's a slot on that card, like count me in because I would love to. I would love to get on that card, definitely.